I will just maybe ask you the situation of the soldier on the roof. It makes a significant difference, I think, whether or not the civilians are there incidentally, so that there will be other opportunities in the conflict to fight another way, on another occasion, at another time, or whether or not they are there systematically, placed there systematically by the enemy to disable military operations.
Yeah.
And if you believe that it's a circumstance such as I described in the latter case, then at least as a thought experiment, could we not imagine that there may not be other opportunities? And that's when the dilemma is perhaps starkest. And there are three options, as in effect you suggest. One is to desist from your own military operations, but that's really to abandon the fight altogether, right? And it seems to me you don't have an obligation to do that. But the alternative is to continue to fight and violate the rules of in bello morality. And then the third option, and this is a little Pollyannish, is that we can develop techniques of civilian harm mitigation that ironically is, perhaps seen as a woke initiative, but actually may enable you to continue to fight in a situation in which you are otherwise foreclosed from fighting, if you can develop techniques and ways of dealing with this kind of conundrum. But that's at least my thought, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about that.
Yes. Well, I will finish the story. The colonel at the Army War College had one more thing to say. I had, that same day, given a lecture on the Israeli war in Lebanon. And so after describing this Afghan incident, he turned to me and said, "We don't have to worry about a ceasefire. The Israelis were fighting with a deadline and probably wouldn't have later opportunities to get at the bad guys on the roof." So he was recognizing a dilemma, and I was grateful for the recognition. Now you have made that dilemma much, much harder. And I think I say this with some hesitation, I think it cannot possible for fighters using civilian cover to make it impossible to fight against them, to make it morally impossible. We can't accept that a force like the Viet Cong or Hamas or ISIS in Iraq, they cannot act in ways that make it impossible to fight them. Now, we are obviously then obligated to look for the best possible ways of fighting them, but we are also going to have to address the risk question. And I know the kind of risks that we ask policemen to take, or that we ask firefighters to take. And I think soldiers who accept risks of that kind in these situations so that they can fight in a decent way, but still fight.
Thank you very much. And we are happy to entertain questions. Helen?
Thanks very much, Claire. Hi, Michael.